I mean, with Jason, Arsenal 2-2 draw at Liverpool, commendable result.
After the first half, you have to say because the first half, we looked at the Bournemouth game and thought we were so poor in the second half. But that first half today, it was almost like they were feeling sorry for themselves after having to give the guard of honour. And we've seen loads of times this season where we've been dominating games, we've been in the ascendancy, and we've had chances and not taken them. Paris on Wednesday night was a classic example. And at the top level, when you get into those situations and you don't capitalise on those advantages, you can begin to rue those missed opportunities, and we did. And it took them a couple of minutes to score 2 goals, and it looked like we weren't even trying to defend either of them. I need to go back and have a look at them. It's obviously really difficult when you're in the.
Definitely, when the second one went in, that was a prevailing feeling amongst the guys I was sitting with. They look like they're starting to feel sorry for themselves, and they look like they'd be anywhere else but at Liverpool today. But to be fair, in the second half it was different.
Yeah, it'd be really interesting to kind of hear Arteta's interview and kind of hear what he actually said to them, because they obviously got a rollicking, and rightly so, rightly so, because we've travelled out. I left my house at 7:30 this morning, and I'm not going to get back till gone midnight, and I've got work tomorrow. So
fair play to you.
You deserve, when you do that and you're willing to show that level of commitment, like, you deserve to come up here and see something. Absolutely. And in the first half I didn't see it, and in the second half I did. So credit to them. I don't know what happens next week. By all accounts, Trossard's out. I think he went off. When he went off, it was apparently with either a hamstring or a thigh injury.
I didn't hear that. That's not good news.
That's what the internet seems to be saying. Obviously, no Moreno. I thought it was fair. I thought it was the right decision. I was a little bit confused.
I thought that was a little disappointing from Mourinho there. I mean, from where I was stood, I'm at the opposite end of the ground. But I didn't think he needed to do that.
No, it looked like he had a couple of nibbles. He had the first one, and they got up, and then he's gone and had the second one. So I can absolutely understand the ref doing that. What I found strange was the ref allowing them to get the shot off, the shot going wide, and then going back and bringing it back for the free kick. By all means, go back and bring it back and give the goal kick and send him off. But it was almost like the advantage had to lead to a goal, otherwise they were going to get another opportunity, and that's tough. But we dug in. We dug in when we needed to. I mean, some of the people around me were a bit confused as to why maybe Ranieri didn't get minutes, and we saw Trossard, we saw Tierney, we saw Zinchenko, we saw Calafiori. I think in those moments when you bring it back to 2-2, you can't lose the game. To bring it back to 2-2 and to lose the game is absolutely criminal. And we had a great chance to go ahead and win it at the last minute.
I personally think had Mourinho not got sent off, it looked like we were going to go on and win that game. There were points in that second half where we were all over him. Got to ask you, Martin Odegaard, he's been the subject of a lot of scrutiny in the last couple of games or so. How do you think he did today? Better in moments. I think one of the things that obviously we missed today was obviously with Declan Rice not being there, what you realise about our midfield, and I'm not sure that Zubimendi resolves this, is the lack of legs, like the lack of athleticism in the middle of the park. Liverpool looked like every time they were on the transition, they had willing runners that were trying to get forward and create things, and we looked like we were kind of running in treacle at times. And like I said, Zubimendi doesn't necessarily solve that. But I thought Odegaard was better today. But again, when you give the ball away on those transitions, you put the team under a little bit of pressure. But the shot that he had that led to the goal, the shot he had at the end. I think a lot of people with Odegaard are probably going to end up with a little bit of egg on their face at the end of the season, because I think he's still struggling from that injury, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's playing through painkilling injections and needs surgery at the end of the season. That we might hear about that in a few weeks. But that is part of the issue with running these players into the ground. The number of hamstring injuries, the number of muscular injuries that we suffer. Something needs to be done about it. But we've come here. We didn't show up in the first half, and we showed up in the second half. So, just finally, where do you stand on a debate about finishing second? Does it matter to you, or are you not that particularly bothered? Some of the fans seem to be mixed on that issue.
Look, I think you go out and I think you try to win every game. I think you go out and you try to finish as high as possible. I don't think saying that just because fifth gets you Champions League, you can afford to start dropping points. Got a massive game against Newcastle next week. We know that's going to be a physical game. You want Moreno in those physical games. Yeah, it depends how badly injured Rice is. It's going to be a tough game, and Southampton in the end. People were looking at Southampton as a dead cert, but they held City
yesterday, and if they want to do the same to us, they could quite easily do it, because we probably don't have the game changers that they do. So getting the point here today helps, particularly with Villa and Villa playing the side that they played yesterday, Newcastle and Chelsea playing. But look, it's a bit of a damp squid, really.
Well, listen, let's hope we can win next week, because it's been a few games now since we won a game of football. But anyway, Jason, thank you so much.
Cheers,
Well.